Hello, and welcome back to our podcast. We are currently in the decision making process of seeing if we want to rename it to Conversations with the Cheneys or keep it as His View, Her View. I like His View, Her View. I also like Conversation with the Cheneys. But comment below which title you would like. But, anyways, my name is Nia. Excuse my nasalness and my deep breathing because I was just running around. And seasonal allergies. This is my co-host.
Cedric, Sir Cedric or C's, don't matter. I always say that. Let's start that over. This is Cedric C's, your boy, your man, the one and only.
I think I'm gonna keep that in. So basically, we want to talk about. So first, we're gonna discuss the whole P Diddy case going on right now. He was taken into custody. I'm gonna go ahead and start off.
Okay, so as everybody knows, P. Diddy is going through everything that he's going through in the public eye. Clearly, he's been doing these things for the last 30 years. And it's pretty ridiculous and sad to see a pillar in the hip hop industry come down like this because even though we don't agree with the actions, this is somebody who helped catalyze a lot of importance within the culture and pretty much helped forward hip hop on the world stage as we see it today. So.
Yeah. So that case is ongoing right now. He was taken into custody last week, I believe, and since then there's been almost like a trickle down effect where um, certain CEOs have stepped down. Those that are in the music industry, Lyles, I believe his name is Kevin Lyles.
Yeah, Kevin Love, this was the one that we know. But you also said there was two other mogul execs that stepped down too. That they have their names haven't really surfaced, but they definitely stepped down.
Yeah, I'm looking for my phone so I could possibly look it up. But it was two other executives. Hold on 1 second. Excuse me, I hate the sniffling, y'all. Two other executives that also stepped down since he's been taken into custody and denied bond. He tried to get bond twice on $50 million bail, and he was denied. And since then, more people are speaking out. I know Kim Porter's husband uh, requested that the DA look into her death again, which there was a lot of speculation about that, allegedly. And also, I'm just looking up. Did you want to, while I look up music moguls?
While she's looking up the music moguls, I'm just going to bring up a few things that kind of stood out to me. I've recently seen Dame Dash do an interview speaking on how he felt about it, and I know everybody's seen like with those pictures surfacing with like Aaliyah, Jay Z, and Dame Dash. You know what I mean? It's like he actually had an interview where he was talking about his interactions with Diddy, and it's like, man, he's like saying like some of the same things, like to see somebody in the beginning of their career doing certain things, and it's like, man, from coming from Dame Dash perspective, that he's a person who's been difficult. You know what I mean? Like, and now that he's been like saying why he's been difficult in those rooms, like I don't agree with like a lot of that stuff.
Hold on, what did you say? I was looking up this and I got shocked. What did you say?
That Dame Dash was just talking about like his interactions with Puff. Like I said, they all been
He's
into
been
the
difficult.
game. Like people say his perception has been difficult, and he's like, now you can see why. It's like, yeah, I'm difficult when I don't agree with certain
Oh,
things.
that's what Dame Dash recently said since Puffy's been taken into custody. Oh wow. Um, that's interesting. See, there's so many things we had previously recorded. Some us discussing this, so this is kind of like it was a little bit more off the cuff, but a lot has happened since then. And so Warner Music Group CEO Kevin Lyles resigned. Sony Music Nashville CEO Randy Goodman, quote unquote, said is retiring, but that's quite a coincidence. He's a WHITE man. Of course, they're gonna.
He's a white man.
Yeah, they're gonna try to change it to be like he's not resigning, but that's basically the same thing. Warner Music Japan CEO Kaz Kobashi, excuse me if I mispronounce his name, is stepping down. So these are three different music CEOs that since the shakeup and the arrest and detainment of Puffy P. Diddy, they have stepped down. It's only been a week. So that's a mighty big coincidence.
One thing that people are saying, I've been hearing, is like P. Diddy might not necessarily be the one who they initially went for. That might be the one that they gave up. You know what I mean? So it's almost like all the enablers, you know what I mean? All the things that, all the different people who are trying to escape trouble for themselves giving him up. You know what I mean? At this point. So it's just like a sad a sad day for anybody, you know what I mean? I would say.
Oh yeah, because Stephen A. Smith mentioned how we don't know who they've already had flip
Right.
before, because everyone's like, oh, I wonder who else is going to be arrested. But in reality, there might be already people that have signed off on their deal of how much time they'll be spending in jail in order to testify against Puffy. And who knows, maybe Puffy has signed off on something in order to testify against these CEOs. We don't know. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like now with racketeering, which, what is racketeering again?
Basically, when you have a whole lot of different things that you're doing illegally, whether it be weapons, murder, you know what I
Money
mean, sex
laundering.
trafficking, mainly for him, sex trafficking.
Oh,
you know what I
okay.
mean? And using these things in some way, shape, or form to corroborate like a whole business.
Oh,
you
to
know?
coerce other people, I
No,
guess.
to have like a whole industry on
Oh,
this.
okay.
So it's like now that they're saying that this is how you got all this stuff. It's a potential that even after this is over, he'll lose everything. Because they're saying like, okay, you got to forfeit all of this stuff if you got it like this.
That's why they said he, before getting put in, before being going to New York to be arrested, because they said that he went to New York knowing he was going to be arrested. So he was walking around on the beach in Miami, and now looking back, foresight or hindsight, it makes sense. Like, oh, if this is your last time of freedom, you're gonna want to go to a beach. So before he went to New York to be arrested, they also say he sold his mansion. Which everyone knows about Puffy's mansion, and how that's like the party hotspot in Miami and stuff like that, on Star Island. I believe that's what it's called. But also, with that being said, it seems it's sad that he's like a black billionaire on that sense, but it's also like he has to be held accountable for what the crimes that he's committed, because it's like the money and the power. This is now tying back to the Me Too movement, where it's like it went through, and everybody, I forget who was saying this. It was some influencer that was saying, I wonder when it's going to ricochet onto the music industry, because I worked in the music industry in the beginning of my career, and it is very greasy and slimy and yucky, and they were saying, I wonder when it's going to go to that, because it went through television, it went through film, industry, and it tore that crap up. People got tore down. And even businesses, I believe, with the Jeffrey Epstein thing, businesses such as Victoria's Secret and their sister companies were affected by it, because Jeffrey Epstein and the people that own those companies were very much doing things, allegedly. I don't know all this, but I'm going to put up the definition of racketeering too, because like I'm not a legal person, so it's like I don't really know all this legal jargon means, but it seems very sad that who knows how many beloved artists, musicians, business people are tied into this, and now to see everyone has personas, but it's like now to see your true colors, the fact that so many people were saying that Kim Porter died suspiciously, and who knows how he got them to just say that she had no pneumonia and passed, and then there's kids involved. That's another thing that's like I look at as a fact of, did he just have all these, because he has a new baby that's I think about 2 years old, and he was
to try to protect his image. You know what I mean? Just always thinking about image, and that's what I like. I like a lot of these people who live these kind of lives do. It's just about, okay, public persona. You know what I mean? So it's not like he even taking into account like what's right anymore. It's just what's right for me. I got power. Me. You know
what looks right. Because even with the whole Cassie thing, for him to literally blatantly say she's lying, y'all gonna see the truth, and then when the video comes out,
now you feel I'm fucked up. I was fucked up. Like, come on, man. You should have been felt like that when you did it. You know what I mean? I don't know somebody who can commit that level of abuse unless you used to doing it. You know what I mean?
That's what I said. That's what I was saying.
And does not immediately come out like, for that to have came out 4 to 5 years later, and then for people to been able to have been bought in that moment to shield that information, it's just like, that's bullshit that we live in a society where morality is not existent.
It's up for sale.
You know what I mean? Like a person will sit up there and turn a blind eye for a couple dollars. You know what I mean? It's just like even sadder that you want to blame people, but I still blame the system at large for putting out all of these images of what success look and feel like it, and also in the same sense depriving and depleting the people so much to where they feel like they have their back against the wall, or want to taste of the good life, like their life is not
in
so
any
good,
way possible.
Right. You know what I mean? So it's just like,
and even with that being said, like, I think a lot of people were just scared to even talk, because Shine, he even came out, and I love how Shine, you know, of course they're asking everybody that has been known associated with him. They said Farnsworth Bentley put out something on his Instagram, but then took it down. I haven't been able to find it, but I really would like to hear from him and J-Lo, because these are people that, you know, even the dancer lady who I remember during making the band when she left, and it was like, you looking back on it, like I said, hindsight, you could tell she was kind of scared to leave.
Even that one guy, I watched that one guy from the band on making the band, the guy Freddie, and he was one of the first ones who quit the group. Like, he was like, got his first check and left. And everybody was at the time like, you know, that was stupid. You know what I mean? And stuff like that. But I seen him do a recent interview, and he seemed like one of these guys that's similar to Sean. Like, I'm just happy that I'm not a person who had to feel like they compromised my morals. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody wants nothing bad to happen to nobody, but nobody's sitting up there coming to puff the fence who walked away from the situation early. It's just like, man, like, it's unfortunate, but I seen this could have been. You know what I mean? Even listening to Dame this morning talk, he was kind of putting out another theory I kind of thought about. Like, it just seemed to be kind of consistent, like 30 years. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you think that 30 years is forever, but that's the deal? What if that's the deal? You know what I mean? Like, you get 10 years to rise. You know what I mean? Another 20 years to feel like, to another, you know, adding up to that 20 years, another 20 years of you think that you untouchable, you doing more and more. You know what I mean? Spreading this bullshit even. So, and all of a sudden that last 10 is your downfall. And then after that, it's all over. You know what I mean? So it's like, in a moment, in a career sense, 30 years seem like forever. You know what I'm saying? But 30 years in a lifetime is a flash. You know what I'm saying? So some of these people, like Weinstein too, they said he had 30-year run before it was over.
Really?
You know what I'm saying? Like, all these things came to a light. You know what I mean? So it's just like, are these people, you know
maybe,
what I mean?
I will say this with the FBI. When the FBI is coming for you, even with like Cocaine Cowboys and stuff like that.
Yeah, what time they got you? I feel like they got you.
Yeah, by the time because first the police gonna come. You know, first the police come, they might arrest you. We don't know this. We don't do stuff like this. But this from looking at previous criminals, you know, in large cases. Basically, the police come at you. They get some evidence. Oh, of course you get out. You got the money to just throw at the case. You know what I'm saying? You probably even got some police officers in your pocket. When the feds come after you, first of all, when they're coming at you to just like collect stuff, when they raided his house, they already got you. That's what that's saying. They already got you.
Also, to me, it's also saying the one thing, it's bigger than you at this point.
Yeah, it's bigger. At this point, they are now making sure that this cannot persist after you are away. Because you already have built a company. So that clearly shows that people know what's going on. At least somebody in each level knows.
That's what they're saying, like, where the RICO comes in, like, the people who are involved. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, it's other people. Like, how you couldn't have done all of this stuff.
Yeah, there's no way. That's another thing that a lot of people are saying, like, this comedian Ryan Davis, he was saying how Don Richards, I'm going to come back to Shine too, how Don Richards had been continuing working with Puffy even after Cassie came out with her allegations before the video came out. And he was saying how he said in January 2024, he was like, he thinks it's unfair for everything to just be put on Puff, on Diddy, when there's clearly other people that are continuing to want to even work with him even after. And it's like, there's no way you didn't see what was going on. You know what I'm saying?
That's why I guess like some of it is going to probably come out like, okay, either you consented, you know what I mean, to do some of this stuff, like you are just as fucked up as me, and this is the part of life you want to be in, you know what I'm saying? Or some of it is just like, you know, like these low lives in these high places, you know what I'm saying? Like they sitting around, like how Dane was saying, like, now I see how you was able to get that deal.
Yeah. The prettiest people do the ugliest things for the road to riches and diamond rings. And that's the truth.
Kanye look crazy. You know what I mean?
And I mean, I'm sure I think Kanye already had, because I mean, even in his Netflix documentary where his mom was talking to him, he already had an inflated sense of self. And then when you're put into environments where you know you are better than the people around you, talent-wise, and now you kind of almost have to
belittle yourself for them.
Yeah, knowing that and then you start seeing why they are where they're at. It's not because of their talent, because you know you talented than them. So now it's like you have to send subliminal messages through your songs. And I'm not saying Kanye's right about everything. And then also with the Shine thing, when Shine had mentioned, when he was questioned recently at a conference, and he was like, I don't need someone else to fail in order for me to succeed. And I think that is so beautifully put, because I feel like when people get to the top, there's a documentary on this too. I forget the name of it. I think it's called Superstar or something like that. America specifically loves to tear people down. This person needs to be torn down. But it's like, that's when everyone is like, devil's advocate, watch it. They are coming for you. And it's like
I said, that's a good reference point just to think about, like, Puffy in that position of being like the person who was being advocated upon. Like, you could have made different decisions, but instead you chose to go.
And now the devils are coming to take you down.
They're not even take you down, take you where you belong.
That's what I'm saying. That just like, what's that movie with Ghost? That's like when they come out of the dark shadows and it's time for you to go. It's like it's all that ugliness that you were doing is now being spewed onto you. And that's why when Shine said that, it was like they wanted him to also start just going off a cuff of like, F him, da, da, da. But it's like, when you're a good-hearted person, when you know, like, I've already made peace.
You know what I'm saying? I feel like the same thing, like, with Dame Dash. Like, he brought up, like, I keep asking him how he felt about different stuff. And it's just like the ladder of, like, okay, of course, when he was able to pay like $18 million to pay his house off, that made him feel a kind of way. But he was like, when you look at it, like, he wonder, like, now, like, the decisions he made was like for family. Like, Dame at the time, like, I made decisions because I wanted to
make sure my
actually have a family. You know what I mean? Like, he said, you can't put yourself in a position to where you saying that you want to be a family man, but you're doing all of this other kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, for him, it's like, nobody don't wish no downfall on you. You know what I mean? Nobody, like how he said, offer support. You know what I mean, to your children. You know what I'm saying? Like,
because those are innocents.
Yeah, you know what I mean. It's just like, it's just like you said, unfortunate. Like, in a sense of competition. Okay, it's competition, but nobody want this to happen for the whole hip hop community culture, for the culture. It's like, now they're gonna, like how they been doing, and some of you people probably looking at this or not, or perpetrators of this, like putting images out of people who have nothing to do with what's going on. Like, trying to tie people's names into stuff and like draw your own stories and these conclusions just to take everybody down. It's like,
or to get clickbait. Like that's another thing that's kind of disgusting me with all this, is people are literally creating narratives out of the thin blue sky. Like, somebody put up something with Aaliyah and they're like, this is not, I understand why you're trying to correlate this, but it's not timeline wise, does not even match. Like
remember the Dame Dash and Aaliyah situation, like even with her pictures being photographed with Jay-Z at the time, she's 19 years old. So it's not like she's not of age. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like,
and that's what I don't like. Like, you have to, in today's time of social media and just whoever can get the best clickbait, the best headline, it's getting disgusting. And it's getting to the point of like, I just want the truth, the facts, you know what I'm saying? Because then we can judge people based on their character, not on what is salacious at the moment, you know? And I think it's disgusting what Puffy did. I think it's disgusting the fact that he really, what I'm really disgusted at is the fact that he had the audacity to literally say that Cassie was lying, knowing that there was a video. Now, even if he didn't know there's a video, he did something.
Yeah,
like, I couldn't, knowing good and damn well that I did something to hurt somebody, still call them a liar to the public, because people
publicly. If anything, that's when you come clean. Like, one person who I respect and we seen them continue to go up when they had a incident that wasn't flattering to their image was Kevin Hart. You know what I mean? When he got caught up in that situation where he was, living a celebrity life, and the video came out and they tried to extort him. He said, fuck that. No, I'm not going like that. I'm not, they're trying to demand stuff from me. This is not going to happen. I did this. You know what I mean? I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? But that's not enough for y'all to
extort me. I can't live the rest of my life in hiding, knowing the truth of that. I did something wrong, but it is what it is. Oh, pause. Okay. And we're back. Yeah, I do agree with that, because that's how they get you. They get you the one, even on Devil's Advocate. You need to make one wrong turn.
Luther. I was thinking about to watch that movie Luther, movie Luther with Idris Elba, where he playing a detective, and it's basically just showing you like the heinous things that this one person got everybody doing because clearly he's blackmailing people.
Yeah.
And it's like looking at where we at right now today with this Puffy case, that don't seem far fetched at all.
Yeah. They get you with one thing. You make one decision where they know you're compromising your moral compass.
Yeah, definitely. Or like I said, like, and that's what even make the situation even sadder because it's like for you to force those images on people. You know what I mean? Like for you to be literally drugging people. You know what I'm saying? Just so you can get leverage on them. All of a sudden, it's just like, damn, like you might not even know when it even happened.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? All of a sudden, one day somebody call you trying to get you to do something. All of a sudden, like you live your life 6 months later, and all of a sudden it's like, when the fuck did this even happen? This is like you in a very compromised position. It's just like you got the image of the hardest rapper ever, but yet somebody had their way with you. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what do you? You know what I mean?
And that also brings back to the point of recognizing that everyone is a full human, meaning that no one is just all hard, tough guy. You know what I'm saying? No one is a soft wimp. You know what I'm saying? Everyone is a full faceted person. You know what I'm saying? And you have to recognize that, like, and people were mentioning like the music stuff. I don't know if we should. I might take this out, but how like, oh well, now we can't listen to his music anymore. I feel like at the end of the day, it's like,
I mean, no matter if you decide, what I'm gonna say about this is like, if I hear a song and it naturally come on, I feel like hearing it great. But the thing that is sad about Puffy's actions on his behalf is that no matter what you do or no matter how much greatness you created, it'll always be in the back of somebody's mind this. Because it's like, for me, I can't. Now, every time I listen to certain things, like certain things, like, you know, take that, it can't stop, won't stop. Like, it's like, now you in jail, and like, imagine somebody telling you like that, like all of this baby oil and stuff, and it's like, I was like, can't stop, won't stop. Now you like this weird shit, like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like nothing that he has ever said now to where it's like before it might have been a chuckle, smile, okay, I'm trying to see this guy's character for what he's presented it as, to now it's just like all of that stuff is even in question. And I was a person who liked Puff a lot, you know what I'm saying? Like I told you, it was like one of the things that he had in his lines was, I can't remember that shit right now, but it's just like, I used to look up to that line. It used to always make me just feel like proud as a person. You know what I'm saying? But it's just like, man, like, it's dude, hard. You too?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And honestly, like, I feel a way too, because I do feel like I can decipher and compartmentalize an artist's work from the person, just because I don't know. I can. I feel like people are there. I feel like the people that have the most warped minds sometimes are. I don't want to say that because people can be creative and not be a bad person, but to know that both of those things are in a person's head, like, wow, you are an amazing producer. You're able to create such impactful stuff, but you also are a horrible human being that needs to be in a cage because you are scary when you're in public, to the point that people don't want to talk. You know, people feared.
As far as like, you know, thinking about like, you know, R. Kelly and Puff, the difference for me, you know what I mean, is just the fact that R. Kelly legitimately seemed like a person who was just not that smart.
I agree. I think he has handlers. I think he is on the spectrum. And I think he also was a pervert.
Yeah, and that's no denying that, you know what I'm saying? But it's just like, Puffy had used manipulation, power, tactics, all these different things to where it's just like, we know that mentally
you're very smart.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So just the fact that this is what you're doing with your power, your money, your time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? With the impact, the influence that you clearly had, or could even had a better impact or influence if you just wasn't doing.
It might have took a little bit longer to get where he's at. It may have.
But like, as we see, now it's just like, to me, makes me have more respect for Dame Dash, because it's like how he's saying, like, I'm creating a platform that y'all always joke about and stuff like that, where you don't got to do no weirdo shit to get on. You know what I mean? Like, this is
pure talent.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Pure talent and hustle.
Right.
Because that's what it's going to take to really get where you. It takes time, talent, and hustle. And at the end of the day, the cream of the crop will always rise. It may take a little longer if you're not willing to take a shortcut, but that's really what it is.
Yeah. But also, if we just change our mental state, you know what I mean? Like I said, like, whatever black people do, you know what I mean, for the most part, is going to be considered the coolest thing. You know what I mean? So
our culture is currency.
Yeah. So it's like, with that being the facts, you know what I'm saying? Like, why do you constantly chase with the image of something that becomes popularized, puts out there for you. And that's the only reason why they started doing that, I believe, because like when hip hop went from, I
Just the
just started
hood kids
yeah, and it was
listening.
just like, nobody's like, even in the videos, the artists, like they was wearing regular stuff, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And all of a sudden out of nowhere, you got like the popularized artists, okay, let's get like a certain image and a certain look. And I don't mean to talk bad about Run DMC, but they start bringing their jail look, taking their laces out their shoes and stuff like that, and wearing
Mm.
like dumbass gold rope chains and shit like that. You know what I mean? So creating almost like a dope boy image. You know what I mean? Versus like we all out here poor. It might look cool, but whenever. But now you making it.
But you also have to remember they may not have even known because in back in those days, when people came back from jail, they just had to go with what they had. They didn't, you know
Exactly.
what I'm
So you,
saying?
as a rapper, y'all didn't live that. You know what I
But
mean?
that's what I'm
So you,
saying.
so
In
you took
their
that image and put it out there when it's not a good image to sell. Is what I'm
but
saying.
they wasn't trying to sell it. They was literally saying this is how we roll in our neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? Like just like for example, the hood girls, they would have like the clips in there. I know at one point it was cool to have like clips in your hair. That's just how hood girls would be because, and I say hood with
Urban, basically.
yeah, urban. And I'm saying that with, being saying that
Endearing.
with love, endearing, yes. The clips in the hair became a thing now, it's on the runway. So like first it's hood until it's chic by them. We're not trying to make it hot. This is literally how we are. This is how my homeboy walked out. This is how I walked out because at the end of the day, I ain't had no other choice. You know what I'm saying?
That
Like,
to a degree, but I'm just saying it's like perpetrating certain images that's going to not necessarily be good for you because now you're creating an image to where you can be targeted. You know what I mean? Like whereas before, like when you talking about hip hop and thinking about civil rights and just how people wanted to present themselves. Not saying that it should ever matter your image, but image obviously is the thing that projects truth upon people. Sadly, you know what I mean? So if you're not living a lifestyle to where you did not have to come out of the jails and stuff like that, but you are artists who see a person who come out of jail and then people respecting them, and all of a sudden you're like, you know what? When I get in front of the cameras and I get on, I'm gonna look like the dude out of jail. And all of a sudden you
or
got
you're trying
everybody instead of everybody being a blended society, you got everybody wanting to be that. You can't now decide who's criminals or whatever. So now you got a whole system just preying on anybody, and then you have the image of that. So now when they do whatever they do to you, it's easier for them to do it. You know what I mean?
now this is where it becomes his view, her view, because I see where you're coming from. From my viewpoint, I feel like they are trying to reflect their environment because they want the people that they come from to feel seen and heard. And that was a big thing that during when hip hop was first coming up, they didn't feel like they were being seen because it was like, okay, if you want to be on TV, you had to look like you were in Dynasty. And I mean, I was born in 86, so I don't really know the beginning phases of hip hop, but my family comes from New York, and I distinctly remember my mom, my uncles, voicing the fact that, it wasn't MC Light might have been on TV every so often, and they knew her from around the way.
It
Mike
wasn't
Tyson.
like a whole lot of positive black images, but like I said, that's not a positive black image. I'm not saying like people didn't
But
embrace
that's an
that culture.
image.
Okay.
That's an image that they can say, I can identify with this person because they look like JJ that's from around the corner or so and so that lives in my building. And I think that's what really like what's her name? I forget her name. The girl, the first rapper girl, I forget her name. But she was saying how, she would just wear her regular jeans, like what she wore to school, because at the end of the day, that's what she had to wear. And then the girls around the way started dressing more and more like her because Shantae. Because it was like, oh, I see myself in her. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, she looks like a girl I went to school with or that I go to school with. You know what I'm saying? So
I
it's
can
like,
agree with that because, like you said, that's a fashion that she brought herself. But like I said, if you literally are taking the style of somebody who comes out of jail and now you make that your
what if
cool
they,
image, like,
I understand Run DMC did not come out of jail, no. But I'm saying at the end of the day, there were other rappers that were rapping at block parties. That's where rapping started with the turntable. They just put it outside and they would be, someone would take the mic and start rapping, or not even take the mic. They would stand in front of the turntable and rap. They were people that look like that. So it's like, okay, they didn't know that was from jail. They didn't know that this guy, hey, just got out of jail.
how do you know what they knew?
because they're going off of this person is popular, standing in front of the crowd of.
Yeah, so like I said again, you're proving my point. A person who is popular, you just support.
But they're popular around their way. They're not popularizing jail. They're popularizing the fact that this person was good with words.
Popularizing because people sitting around and saying like, okay, this is the tough guy image. Like, I don't want to look like a square. I want to look like a guy who's.
But they wasn't even being tough guys.
They wasn't being tough guys rapping, but the image was that representing the people who were actually living that, and you wanted to be cool. You wanted to be something different than what your parents was. So this is the image that you went to.
Okay. Now I'm going to voice what I'm thinking. I understand where you're coming from. I'm not trying to change how you feel. I'm going to voice how I feel. I feel like at the end of the day that this was not them trying to popularize jail anything, because they weren't saying, yeah, I'm trying to slice somebody's throat. When hip hop first came out, nobody was talking about trying to be hardcore. They was literally talking about, we are living in the slums. What was that one verse where he said, landlords are burning down buildings to get the insurance? It was some well-known group, and they were even wearing dookie chains. But that's because at the end of the day, they are representing, like, even through,
like you said, like what you're rapping about. So if your image is something, then you're not rapping about something
that wasn't Public Enemy. That was another group. They were very, I think KRS-One was associated with them. I forget their name. What is that first song? It was the first rap song. Rapper's Delight. And they was like saying, like,
dressed in disco wear.
In the video they had on like jeans and sneakers. They had on jeans and sneakers in that video. And that's what I'm trying to say. Like, they were literally like how we're going to discuss in another episode about how our current music nowadays does not depict our environment. They were literally depicting their environment. They were literally looking around and describing their environment. And they weren't trying to make it cool. That was just their environment. They were just depicting. So it wasn't like, oh, they tried to make being hard and being a criminal cool. No, they were just talking about their environment. Like, we see the drug dealer driving by in this car. We don't think it's cool. Stop. Look at the crackhead right here. They literally was saying that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know the verbiage verbatim.
Some of it. But that's some of it. You know what I mean? There's other parts of it.
What original hip-hop songs do you know that they were popularizing jail in drugs? What like original
imagery? Like I just gave you the example. Like I said, if you go look at how
I'm not talking about imagery. That's what I'm saying. Like
they came up with their look based upon that. Like I said, like I can't quote songs from the.
They 80s. Even said in their interviews about when they were wearing Adidas, that people started telling them, you need to contact Adidas because you need to be getting paid because people are trying to wear Adidas because of you.
With no strings on them. Like I said, the no strings thing that I brought up, like bringing up certain images. Like, the only thing I'm trying to point out is, like I said, certain things that you pick up from certain people, they're not living that life. And all of a sudden, if you pick that image up, a person who says their perception of you is the reality will lock you up because they'll just associate you with the group.
And that's where I think society is wrong. Yeah, I don't think anybody should be.
I said that. I definitely said it's wrong.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think that just because I can dress like a hood chick and I still expect to be treated with respect. And I don't expect to be preyed upon by anybody just because of how I'm dressed. Because 1 second you'll say I'm dressed like a drug person, someone that just came out of jail, and as soon as someone puts it on a runway and a white person's wearing it, now it's chic. So fuck that. Excuse my language, but I don't care how somebody's dressed. They need to be treated with respect. They should not be preyed upon and thought of as someone that should be preyed upon just because of how they're dressed. Because only thing that changes how they are treated is their skin color, in America at least. Because a white person can wear the same thing.
For the record, I'm not trying to make that point that people deserve to be treated away because they dress. Like I said, we're just talking about it fled into all of this. But like I said, just imagery, the power of imagery. That's the point there.
Yeah, and I think that's why, because our culture is currency, that's another reason why I respect and I'm sad that Puffy has turned into this image. Because at the end of the day, we started recognizing our power and asking for what we were owed from contributing to society. We had, not saying me exactly, but like the hip hop community had middle class, upper class white teenagers dressed like your favorite rapper, and at the end of the day, we should get a cut of that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, y'all are using our culture to, I guess, be cool. And it's like, yeah, pay us. You know what I'm saying? So that's where my whole thing is like, I'll have to rewind this and see how we got to here. But I know for a fact that, you know, when rap first started off, that's why I always say the whole gun thing, God, universe, nature. What was tried to use to destroy ended up being used in our favor, and they hated that. And the sad part is that some people in our community decided to utilize the power that they gained from being able to come up on our culture in a negative way, just like WHITE people.
White people.
White people, just like white people are doing stuff in a negative way. And back to the whole Puffy thing, I feel like Trump, who is a political, and I'm gonna call him Orange Man because I don't even like saying his name. I don't think he deserves that respect from just how he carries himself. But white people can do something just as monstrous as a black person, and a black person will be the one that is splashed on front page, be the one that is still held without bond. Trump has literally been told in court that he's guilty of sex crimes, of assault, of conspiracy to overturn the government, which back in the day you would have got hung for. And he's out here campaigning for presidential election. So that's where I'm disgusted at our own political system, judicial system, because it's like, understandable, yes, Puffy is a tyrant. He was scaring people that they wouldn't even talk. You know what I'm saying? He blew up somebody's car, which is crazy.
Like you said, like hopefully this could be a thing that actually bring that whole Trump thing to an end. You know what I mean? Because it's like how you said, he basically did the same shit Puffy doing. Like all y'all rich motherfuckers doing the same shit. So
trafficking and everything.
Yeah, so it's like you actually got convicted and running for president. That don't make no sense.
That don't make no sense. How are you a convicted felon? Like, this is not misdemeanor. This is felony charges. And felons can't even vote, to my knowledge. So you're a convicted felon, but you're campaigning for presidential election. It's crazy to me. You're waiting to see when how long you're going to be sentenced to jail. Like, what world are we living in? We are living in a Delulu world where a black person, a black man who does the exact same thing as a white man, is blatantly being treated differently. And
that's what I'm saying. Like, y'all gotta stop wanting to be so much like white people. Find yourself. Be yourself. Do what you want to do. Don't always try to live your white life. Like, don't try to live a white life. You know what I mean?
Oh, that reminds me. I've been wanting to say this. I do think the fact that Puffy's dad allegedly was a part of the underworld of New York had something to do with the fact that he so easily had power and money at his leverage at a young age. I think that had a big factor. I don't know for a fact. Hopefully in 10, 20 years from now, somebody would do a documentary to show. But I think it's mighty odd that someone who did not go to college or dropped out of college, ended up having a lot of money to just utilize in a business sense, because they don't give black people business loans very easily in America. Yes, he was with Andre Harrell, but also at the end of the day,
how do you even get yourself in that position? You know what I mean? Like, if your father or somebody wasn't in some type of power position, it's like, we watching Power right now, like how we know these New York stories ain't real stories. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think people are creative, don't get me wrong, but my whole thought process is on creativity is nothing is so new within you that you're going to be the one to create it. Like, everything is inspired by something else. Out of the blue sky. Like, yeah, everything is inspired by something else. So
yeah. And so that also, I'm very intrigued to know his full story, which I'm sure we may not know until he passes. You know what I'm saying? But that's intriguing to me, the fact that I think he comes from a line of underworld, honestly.
Yeah. Well, it's just unfortunate for Puff, and like I said, it's unfortunate for the hip hop community too, because like I said, now everything is gonna be like in question on all kind of boards. But like I said, sometimes things do need to get reconfigured and programmed, because like I said, I'm tired of living within a society that feel like glitz and glam and somebody telling you that you ain't shit in your music is just the thing that's gonna make the culture go forward. Because at one point it used to be, like you said, people talk about the struggles, to where it's like now it's an embarrassment to struggle, to the point where you talk to people who literally are doing worse than you, swearing that they're not struggling. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like,
it's literally sad to the point now that people, it's people are embarrassed to be a beginner, to be a starter, to be doing something new and different. It's very odd to me.
People are ashamed to be affected by the times, and this is like that's one thing that's before we found community and going through the same communal bullshit versus like now people are like I said embarrassed to be going by. Everybody want to seem so unscathed. You know what I mean? It's just like
Or
a
above.
false reality. It's like
Yeah.
really like we really live in the social media times where everything is just about a filter. You know what I mean? You living your life through a filter versus reality.
And it's so difficult when you are a real person. Like, rarely find people who, and it makes me emotional when I find people who are genuine in today's time, because for someone who's like me, who's an empathist, it's so odd to be living in a world that's clearly delulu right now. And you be trying to bring it up to people like, this don't make sense. Don't it not make sense to you? And for people to blatantly be like, well, no, you just have to get on, you're in a different social scene. And it's like, what? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, even if I was in a different social scene, if I was around millionaires, but I know there are people who are struggling, I would still feel something. I would still feel like, well, let's try to change this. So like, I don't think anybody should really be struggling if there's millionaires in the
Yeah.
vicinity.
But that's what you said. We're in America where it's like the land that was created from the unwanted and like you said the downtrodden and stuff like that. So it's like instead of people coming together on positiveness, it's just almost like who can be the most grimy. We gonna celebrate
Mm-hmm.
gangsterism, like
We're
who
gonna,
don't give a fuck the most. Like
yes,
you're the one we want to be like. We admire that versus somebody who is endearing, who is an empath, who does care. You know what I mean? You treat those characteristics like weakness. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, as we see, it's easier for a person to be able to have power and stuff like that and just fuck people over versus do the right thing because we have way more people fucking people over doing the wrong thing versus like people doing the right thing. So I should tell you like a lot about the characters of the people who actually do try and do try to make a positive impact versus like you thinking that they are soft or stupid or whatever the
yeah,
case may be. It's just like at some point somebody got to care, and at some point all of this celebrating of being the
negative.
most ruthless motherfucker who don't give a fuck and all this, that, and the third. Like at some point, gotta come to an end. Like
Yeah. It's not sustainable, first of all. Also, we're going to have to be closing this out soon. Are there any like specific topics that you want to bring up before we close it out about the Puffy situation? And, you know, I don't know. It's just so,
we
it's,
probably end up talking about this some more. It's not like
yeah.
this could be like this is like something that's happening. You know what I mean? So I just feel it's like the main points I wanted to make in this conversation was like people like I said like who've been around them. You know what I mean? Like to say the 30-year thing. You know what I'm saying? Like giving that perspective on like
And other people in power that are resigning or
yeah, or like I
stepping
said,
down.
let's reflect on different things that happen. You know what I mean? Like we might not have seen it on a public level, but if you read a paper or read something that described this story, and all of a sudden you look at somebody's run, and all of a sudden you're like, damn, like 30 years,
You
like
have
what
to
if?
start rethinking
Yeah,
everything.
like it's just like, oh, what is? For me, I'm like I said, a creative person myself, so I get inspired by the mystery of everything. So it's
Yeah.
just like to me, it's like I'm writing a story right now, and it's just like, is there a level of mysticism where people are selling something? You know what I mean? It's like now it's time for the devil to come collect. You know what I mean? The 30-year mark is what I'm making.
And Michael B. Jordan's coming out with a new movie too.
Sinners
I
or
meant to show
something.
you the preview.
Oh, you got the preview?
And it looks scary. I don't like scary stuff, but it looks good. But like someone said in the comments, I don't watch scary movies, but I'm gonna go see this because it actually the headline or whatever blurb is play with the devil enough and then he'll follow you home or something like that. It looks scary. I'm gonna show you the preview after this, but
Yeah. But again, nothing is to me
new on this.
or nothing is unreal. You know what I mean? Like everything is inspired by some level of truth. And like to me, you know, you playing with the spirits or whatever, they're gonna come about. And like I said, I think that you can actively make exchanges now. Like I said, if all of these people's
Excuse me. I'm
big
sorry.
dynasties within these big corporations are coming to an end in 30-year periods, and it's just like with dynasties 30 years prior fail.
That's
You know
fine.
what I
That
mean?
turns off. Yeah. So I do.
Yeah, what did you ever say?
The dynasty's coming to an end.
Like previous ones though, like I would think it'll be interesting to see. Like,
Oh, to
what
look back on
dynasty-
those.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do agree. Like I said, I agree with you. I'm a history buff. I do agree that I love history and I love the mystery of history because everything, when you look back in hindsight, you can start tying through lines together and it starts making more sense because I'm very much analytical. So Oh man. Hopefully that you can't hear that because we have mics. Um, but I'm looking forward to see the through line, to see like, okay, what was the catalyst? Because there's always, like I said, I feel like you come, and Puffy probably had this moment where you come to a middle part, just like on The Godfather, like how we said in the other video, where you have a choice. You can continue on your family's path, or whatever path was laid out for you, or seems easiest, or seems most like, okay, this is what is known or expected of me. Or you can take a righteous, more higher path because you know more now. And I think that's where people have that option, and it's really up to them. You know what I'm saying? And it's scary because you may not know right then. Sometimes you do know, like on the Devil's Advocate, this isn't good. You know what I'm saying? You're given a sign. It's like, this is clearly
Well, I feel like when
negative.
you can have all access to all drugs, sex, and money, you should start questioning. Okay, I need to make a choice now. Like, how I'm gonna start morally living when everything opened up to just be a yes. You know what I'm saying? You don't even know if it's a righteous yes or not. You know what I mean? That's why I think that you're at that crossroads. You know what I'm saying?
And it's very odd to be at a crossroads like that. And I've been at crossroads like that. Like when the whole Me Too movement was happening, I voiced how I went on auditions. This is before, you know, Instagram. I want to say probably Facebook was just out, but it was just open to college students, and I would have to find auditions via just random ways. And like I remember going on auditions in my city near me, and it would be like I felt awkward, and I would have a callback, and I would choose, like, I don't feel comfortable going back to that vicinity. You know what I'm saying? Not that anything specifically happened to me, but it was just the sense that I got, like, this is not conducive to me, you know what I'm saying, in my safe feeling. But I say all that to say, we would love to know your comments on everything that's going on, and turn this way, get out the leaves. You're in the leaves a little bit. There we go. We would love to know y'all comments. We would love to keep the discussion going in the comments below so that maybe we can do a follow-up video because, as we both said, I'm sure more and more is going to come out. I didn't even know Dame Dash did an interview about things.
Yeah, yesterday.
And I'm going to go look at that or at least hear something about it. I don't like looking too much into stuff because I just be like, I kind of don't even want to know too much.
Dame Dash wasn't, like, his interview, like I said, it wasn't like a whole lot. It was like he just touched on things. And it was like, he touched on things like, y'all probably going to, like, make jokes or whatever because he's talking about, like, when he had the barbecue and they, hung it up with Aaliyah and when he met Aaliyah. And it's just like, people think it's funny, but it ain't nothing to joke about or whatever. It's just like, that was a night of his life, you know what I mean? Like it got magical that night for him. It wasn't like nothing weird, you know what I mean? So it's just
and that's the thing. Don't try to make everything a weird moment now.
Yeah. And that's the one thing I forgot to bring up, like TD Jakes, you know what I'm saying? Like TD Jakes is like, now are they saying you were just around because Puffy was trying to have coverage to try to see like he's somewhat of a good person?
Oh, he was spending more time with TD Jakes?
Right. That's why he's saying like with TD Jakes was like going to them parties and stuff like that. It was just like a thing, and they like, okay, like, and we all know what a Puffy party is, and you going to Puffy parties, and it's like you're supposed to be TD Jakes, and it's like at the time nobody had no real full hard physical evidence, but it's just like now it's just like, why would you associate yourself with something like that? You know what I mean? Like,
wow, I didn't even
like
know
people
that.
like Stephen A. Smith and like everybody who said they've been to these things, it's like they not denying that they've been there. You know what I mean? That it's like, I didn't see none of this. I didn't get to that point.
And that's what bad people, I want to say this because this happens in everyday real life. And I don't want to say bad people, but people that know they're doing wrong, that's how they like to
get everybody doing
leverage.
Everybody,
Yes, because they know these people ain't doing nothing. Yeah.
So, like you said, you doing stuff like how they said.
To make
like,
everybody feel incriminated.
Yeah, you feel incriminated to even talk about it. Like, but like you said, you try to get dirt on everybody. And like you said, like a few of y'all are doing certain things in private, and then like you won't be in that section.
Yeah,
but
you won't be near it.
Yeah, and it's a whole thing going on around, but the real thing is happening somewhere else. And it's like a big fucking front.
Yeah, it's a shield. Even with his kids, I do feel like, and I meant to say this before, he was texting a Cassie or something like that, or left a message, they said, talking about something. I got 6 kids here. I truly believe that he was, at certain points, having kids to use as a shield, a physical shield.
Like Nino Brown.
Yes, because they know it won't look good if cops come in here, bust in here, and it's, a 2-year-old in here. He knows that. Otherwise, why you got a 2-year-old around? We know you like that. Even before all this, we know you like to have fun. You got your own liquor brand. You know, you got women around. You know what I'm saying? Like, why you got kids around because you want to use them as a physical shield. You think this will stop the inevitable. And I think that's another thing that really disgusts me about it is when you're putting people that are the most vulnerable, the most innocent in the line of fire to save your own ass. Like, if you really about that, stand on it. Stand on business. Like, you about that life. So you could be taken down with the bullet that, you know what I'm saying, is after you. Because you're not really about that life if you trying to have innocent people in front of you take the bullet for you. You really a punk. That's how I feel. But to just close things out, you know, it's a sad day for hip hop. It's a sad day for just America, I really feel like, because it's like, how many more American billionaires, black or white, is going to come out to be just a heinous person? It's really disgusting. I'm looking forward to a time when it's like, I know it'll never be like the pristine world. You know, I'm a dreamer. But I'm really looking forward to when people in power have a moral compass again. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if we ever did. But I don't know. I'm a dreamer, guys. If you're a dreamer,
I just feel like we just keep going backwards and backwards and backwards. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Personally, because it's like Sodom and Gomorrah already happened. The Dark Ages already happened. This is like, you know, those are, to me, 2 different times where it's showing you like, okay, it's a different way to live, but everybody seems to revert back to their lowest level.
Sense of self, like, which is just like weird. So it's like, you know, like, comment, subscribe, and we'll be back. Also, let us know.
Don't nobody care about your opinion. Whatever we decide it's going to be, that's what it's going to be.
No, because I do want to see, what do people think about the title? Conversation with the Cheneys, or what was it?
Conversating with the Cheneys.
Conversating with the Cheneys, or his view, her view. I'm not gonna lie. I'm probably gonna keep it his view, her view. I'm not gonna lie. But Cedric wants to do a different one.
I was just putting out something that seemed other than a hashtag, you know. But
yeah,
it's fine.
I think that's all, y'all. This is our first time using our new camera, and it made a sound. So we love you guys.
All right, thanks for watching.
Bye. You can find me on Nia Cheney or Phenomenal Nia on Instagram and stuff. All right, bye.